with have been very appreciative of your assistance, so thanks so much. Any questions or comments? Could I have a mover and seconder? Thank you, Councillor Pareha, Councillor Mawson.
Nothing to add. Great work, thanks.
If there's no other speakers, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Thank you, Talia.
Thanks, Talia.
Next up, we have the quarterly performance report, and Alistair is here to present. So this is the new quarterly performance report that we have been awaiting. So it's for the 3 months ended 30 September 2024. So, Talia's running, so I'll hand over to you guys.
Kia ora. So the purpose of this report is to summarise the development of a new council performance reporting framework, but also to deliver the first report, which is Q1 24-25. So following a 3-year plan resolution, the reporting creates a strategic layer tracking the achievement of key performance measures against strategic priorities. Further organisational performance measures will also be included, such as capital, risk and financial, and the previous quarterly report detail will be retained as an appendix report. So that contains all of our performance measures showing the service level that we are achieving. The report is under development. Areas we are looking at improving is the timeliness. As mentioned, this is for the period ending 30th September, which is a little bit in the past already, so if we can improve timeliness, that would be great. Further review of relevant performance measures. There could be more, for instance, in the performance measures that we could bring up to the strategic level that drive performance of council, and improving things like capital reporting, the consistency, aligning the GL to projects are some of the items. In the paper, in the report, we summarise the financial performance for the quarter, which was 3.2 million favourable to our budget. So some of the revenue drivers there are lower Parklands. On the revenue side, revenue was down, lower Parkland sales due to just commercial decision making and the timing of sales. And also some subsidies and grants were lower due to the timing of property compensation buyouts. On the expenditure side, also to do with Parklands, we had less expenditure. Also, the timing of property compensation buyouts was less, and our depreciation was lower due to less asset capitalisation from a lower capital program in the previous year. And also, we had some employee benefit expenses which were over, as we are still working through strategies to figure the efficiencies that we agreed to in the 3-year plan across council. Capital expenditure side, we're actually 1.3 million above our capital budget for the quarter. I've listed some of the items there. Transportation spent 1.3 million more, with some renewal projects being brought forward and some intersection safety improvements happening which weren't budgeted. Wastewater spent about 1 million more than budgeted. Some failures meant that they had to spend more at the Green Meadows pump station. And property assets spent more than budgeted. We're now including Parklands capital in the capital program, and earthworks were less than budgeted there. Can I take the attachment 1, which is the quarterly performance report, as read? Mm-hmm. Okay, what I will do is I'll jump into it just to explain the layout of it and why we've set it up like this, being a new format. So the first part of it is the quarterly performance summary, which really is providing a snapshot of key council achievements for the past quarter, bit of information, bit of a story there. We then jump into more of the kind of performance measures, which starts off with our strategic program section. The strategic programs were formed from the 3-year plan resolutions, so they're there. Those work streams are there to achieve the strategic priorities. So we've listed them here, and we've got a framework, a management framework in place, which informs the status that you can see on the report. And we also show the link to strategic priorities. Continuing through the report, that we've got other key sections which we think drive organisational performance, so people and capability, some of the key measures that the P&C team thought are driving what they're trying to achieve at a strategic level, as well as the health and safety measures. I won't go into the measures. I'm not across all of the measures myself, but if we have any questions, we can ask the reporting owners. The key performance measures section is a summary of performance measures in the lower level quarterly report. So this is all of those service level achievement measures, which are found in an appendix report. Capital plan, we've talked about. Financial performance, we have talked about as well. We've included a treasury management summary, and then we also think it's useful to have a risk and assurance strategic dashboard there, because that, risk is there to support the achievement of our strategic objectives. So that's the layout of the new quarterly performance report and a quick summary overview. Probably need to thank the communications team for helping me pull that together into a report format. And yeah, I suppose in closing, just ask that the council receives the performance report.
Excellent. Thank you, Alistair, and thank you for the work that you've done pulling the new quarterly report together. And I guess noting that you have signalled that feedback is welcome, and
Yep.
elected members, if you have anything that you would like to see and hear, then sort of funnel that through me. And this is the first time we've received this, so happy to take any feedback back that you might have. Open up questions. Definitely the end of a long day. Any general discussion? Could I have a mover and seconder? Thank you, Councillor Crown. Councillor Price, do you wish to speak to this?
Just to say thank you to the staff again. It's always exciting to, get something going. So I appreciate you guys being open to feedback as well as we continue to develop it. I think there was just one other thing around resolution tracking, which we thought potentially would be good to have as well.
Yeah, I suppose we saw that as slightly separate to the performance report, but it could be probably an appendix report. Yep, sure.
I'll just check in with Councillor.
All good, well done.
Councillor Greg.
Oh yes, through the mayor, just to congratulate you on the readability, and it's very easy to sort of go through, so thank you for the ease of use of this report.
Anyone wishing to speak against? I'll put the motion.
Aye.
All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Hearings committee membership.
Happy to move.
Yeah,
Second.
Anna up here, she's here for a few, so you might as well still make the trek up. So yeah, essentially this is adding in Councillor Crystal now that she has her commissioner accreditation, removing myself, which is fabulous. If there's no questions or discussion, can I have a mover and seconder? Deputy Mayor Brosnan, Councillor Pareha.
Rob.
Any comments?
I would like to congratulate Councillor Bristol on passing her accreditation. It is no small feat of work. So welcome
With
to
excellence.
with
Your Worship, I have
and
a
thank you for
question.
your service as well, Mayor Wise.
Are there other members, elected members, who have completed that program that are still not, or are not members of the Hearings
I
Committee?
don't believe so.
It's a shame.
Okay, am I missing someone?
He wants to
I did it years ago, but it's lapsed.
Councillor Pareha, I thought you'd done it.
He's on
Councillor
the
Pareha.
committee.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. The Local Government New Zealand 4 monthly report, which obviously this is a relatively new initiative that they are sending, I think might be about the second or third time we've received it, which is a great way for us to be updated and also for our community to be updated with what LGNZ has been up to. So it's really just about receiving this report. I think if you did have any questions associated with it, you are best to direct those yourself personally
okay.
to LGNZ, because I don't really think there's anyone here that could answer them. So I would encourage you to do that. LGNZ are very, very open to hearing from elected members. So yeah, I'd encourage you to contact them. There'll be on the website and in the report itself. I'm sure there's appropriate contact details for you to reach out.
If you struggle, then let me know.
Okay, it's the
Oh, yeah.
electoral reform group.
Yeah, or via Hannah, yeah. Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Thank you, councillor Crystal and councillor Bogue. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Next, we have the minutes from the Ngāmanuka Te Iwi meeting held on the 13th of November.
Through
was
the
there
chair,
anything-
all of the reports that went to this meeting were for information or for noting, so there wasn't actually any decisions for you to then ratify. But I did want to highlight, because I don't think it's come back to council officially yet, that for the representation review, we didn't have any objections or appeals on our final proposal. So the Local Government Commission have said we don't need a hearing and they don't need to do a determination. So
Yay.
we've been given the green light to get the ward maps approved by Land Information New Zealand. And once that's done, we'll be ready to go for the next election with the new ward structure.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you, that's
Good
great
one.
news. Okay, could I have a mover and seconder to accept the minutes, please? Thank you, councillor Taylor and councillor Gregg. There's no one wishing to speak. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Next up, amendment to the 2025 meeting schedule.
Yes, and through the chair, we just wanted to add a couple of extra dates to this for the Ahuriri Regional Park Joint Committee, a new date on the 17th of February for a meeting, and also a change date from the 5th of May to the 23rd of May 2025.
Everyone
Happy to move.
Happy to move, Deputy Mayor Brosnan, seconded by councillor Brown. I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. We have the actions register. Are there any specific questions related to the items on here?
Through the Mayor as well, there's been a few completed since this was published, just so you're aware. So actions 139, 140, 141 are all complete. Action 157 will go back to the Sustainable Napier Committee next year. That's on the licences for EV chargers on reserve land. Action 158 is also complete.
Excellent. If no specific questions, I'll ask for a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Price, councillor Crown.
Me go
All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Right. Napier City Council submission to the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi Bill.
Yes, thank you. Through the chair, this is reports to present a draft submission on the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi Bill. As we heard earlier, the coalition government introduced this bill to Parliament on the 7th of November, which seeks to amend or remove references to Te Tiriti principles from legislation. The bill implements the government policy to introduce a treaty principles bill based on existing Act Party policy and to support it to select committee process. Napier City Council submission is requests that the bill is abandoned, and happy to take any questions.
Councillor McGrath.
A few questions. What prompted council to submit on this bill? Is it current practice for us to do so on all bills that come through?
Actually, sorry, I omitted to say that this was actually a request. It was a collaboration with the Mayor, Councillor Crown and Councillor Bogue to put this submission together. We as officers are happy to take direction from the council about which pieces of legislation we submit on, or if it has obviously a direct impact on work council is doing, the officers may put it to you that they want to put a submission in.
And
And we
all-
often make submissions on bills, like Three Waters, I can rattle off dozens.
And do they all come through council or?
Yes, so there's the standard process. There is also always exceptions to the rule. Sometimes if we've not been given a lot of time for a submission or something like that, but the standard process currently is for a submission to be drafted, for it to be shared with you all for feedback, and then the officers can look at that feedback and consider it before making the submission. This particular submission, the Mayor said, suggested putting it in the council meeting so that the community can see what Napier City Council are looking at submitting. So that was the opportunity for you all to have a look at what we've proposed and have your input.
I guess further to that, I have been working with the governance team for some time now about streamlining the process around submissions that council makes. My preference would be that all submissions come through council, because ultimately we are the ones that are representing our community. Sometimes, as Anna has said, the timeframes are very tight and that doesn't make it possible for it to come through council. But I certainly think for issues such as this and very, very nationwide interest, it would always be my preference that they come through council. Any further questions? I am happy to move from the chair, seconded by Councillor Crown, thank you. And I do want to acknowledge the work Anna has done on this, and as mentioned, also Councillor Crown and Councillor Bogue. And I think that it's really important that we have taken this opportunity to recommit to our mana whenua and tangata whenua partners our ongoing commitment to honour the principles of te tiriti as they stand. And, you know, to use the words that Te Kaha included this morning, this is about upholding the mana of justice, equity and mutual respect on which we base that relationship and partnership. It's foundation. It's foundational. It's foundational in terms of the way that we govern, and it's foundational in the way that we make decisions for the whole of our community. The government of the day should not be trying to reinterpret a signed treaty that was entered into in the 1800s, and it goes against the basic principles which underpin New Zealand's representative democracy. So I firmly stand by our submission and wholeheartedly support our recommendation that the bill is taken no further and that the coalition government honours te tiriti. Councillor Crown.
I'm happy to reserve my right to speak if someone else would like to have a go.
Any other speakers? Deputy Mayor Brosnan.
Just very briefly, thank you. You know, I'm no scholar, but I do understand process. And when it comes to te tiriti, it is an agreement. And to change an agreement, you need both parties to agree. And if an agreement cannot be met, then the judicial system, which is separated from the executive branch of government, is the correct forum to make a determination on that agreement. So I support the submission. Thank you.
Councillor Crown.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I agree with the comments from both yourself and Deputy Mayor Brosnan. I think we work in a very process-heavy organisation ourselves. We know what it is like to have to follow that due process, and the example of the bill that we have in front of us certainly doesn't deliver in line with process and responsibility that we know that goes hand in hand. When we all took our chairs in 2022, we agreed to a governance statement which includes a commitment to te tiriti and the principles as they stand. principles that our mana whenua partners this morning reminded us have been traversed academically and judicially already as well. I think that the construction of the bill hasn't obviously included meaningful engagement with one of the parties to the original agreement, as Deputy Mayor Brosnan said, and unfortunately that suggests that the conversation that it claims to want to generate is not one of good faith. You would never reinterpret a contract without negotiation between the parties that it includes. So I'm actually really proud of the position that the submission makes or takes, and I can't see any other position for us to take in this case. It's in the Local Government Act that we need to adhere to. Our commitment to Te Tiriti is also featured in our significance and engagement policy. It's noted as a strategic risk for our organisation, number 25, and it is referenced in a number of the other policies that we also have a responsibility to adhere to and implement as well. So, yeah, like I said, I don't see that we can take any other position. So I ask my colleagues today to join us in support of the submission, and I just want to thank the staff for working with us collaboratively to bring it to the table today.
Thank you, Councillor Crown. And I guess just as a final comment from myself as the mover, I think there is, at the same time as this bill is being considered, the government is currently working through a process of already changing legislation and removing Te Tiriti obligations out of legislation. It seems to be happening under stealth, and I think that we have a responsibility as local government to ensure that our community understands what is happening with regards to this. So just highlighting that, and I certainly will be working to understand exactly what's happening in that central government space and how we can share and keep our community informed with what's happening. So thank you once again for everybody involved in preparing the submission, and I will put...
Maybe I will say something.
Yes.
That's right. I was very taken by the presentation this morning by mana whenua in support of our submission, and I'm really proud, as Councillor Crown said, that we're standing up as treaty partners to oppose this bill, and we're not alone. I mean, all but a small group of MPs are all going to be voting against it. So we are not doing this in a vacuum. And I think one of the positive outcomes of this bill has been that it's brought many of us together. It's brought our mana whenua into us to reaffirm that partnership we have. And it's brought Māori and non-Māori together in a genuine collaborative manner. So I think this is a very positive step showing leadership and kotahitanga with our mana whenua partners and other tangata tiriti.
Thank you, Councillor Bogue. I will now put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against?
I'll be abstaining.
Abstain. 2 abstentions. Councillor McGrath and Councillor Mawson. Carried. Rightio, this brings us to the recommendations from the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held. Thank you so much, Anna. Held on the 29th of November. Again, reiterating my comments from earlier about the really valuable reports in here. I encourage you, if you haven't already done so, to have a good read of them. And also, if you have any questions, we don't have a lot of the staff council officers with us today to answer those, so I encourage you to do that offline. So what I will probably do, I will just ask for a mover and seconder. If I could have a mover and seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Crown. Seconded by Councillor Brown. Did any of the other committee members want to make any quick comments? No? Okay. I'll put the motion then. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Last but not least, reports under delegated authority, tenders let, and we have 4 contracts here that tenders were let for from the 16th of September, the 29th of November. All lots of great work, which is really good to see progressing. Were there any questions in relation to any of those? I'm happy to move from the chair if we could have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Crystal. I will put that. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against and carried. And that brings us to the conclusion of our final council meeting of the year. Thank you very much, everybody, for your participation. It's been a long day. We will just stand for our closing karakia. Kia tau, te rangi Māori, kia runga i ngā iwi katoa, kia piki te ora, te kaha me te māramatanga, i ngā wā katoa, ti hei mauri ora.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.